Abduction is one of those concepts that refuses to leave our collective imagination. It sits at a nasty crossroads between fear, powerlessness, and identity loss. Whether it's aliens, governments, time travelers, or shadowy agencies, the core horror is always the same. Something takes you, rewrites you, and then puts you back where you don't quite fit anymore. You're returned, but you're not restored. Your life has moved on without you, your body has been altered without consent, and whatever was done to you now defines how the world sees you. That's why abduction stories linger longer than invasion stories. Invasions are loud, abductions are intimate, they violate continuity, they fracture the idea that time is fair or linear. And crucially, they ask a much uglier question than are we alone? They ask what happens when you come back wrong. That's the space the 4400 lives in. Not flying saucers hovering over landmarks, not laser battles, but the quiet, bureaucratic, psychological aftermath of people being taken and returned like damaged property. Welcome to the Snake Pit, where we're full of bile and venom. I'm your host, Snake Dæmon, and today we're talking about abduction, power, and wasted potential, specifically through the lens of the 4400. At its core, the 4400 has a killer premise. 4,400 people vanish over the course of decades, and then, all at once, they're returned. No explanation, no aging, no adjustment period, just dumped back into the world like luggage no one remembered claiming. The government response is telling. The National Threat Assessment Command, NTAC, isn't set up to help these people, it's set up to contain them. Dennis Ryland doesn't treat the 4400 as victims, he treats them as a variable, a threat, a statistical anomaly that must be monitored, medicated, and managed. Even when leadership changes, Ryland to Nina Jarvis, Jarvis to Megan Doyle, the philosophy doesn't. Compassion is secondary to control. And that's where the abduction theme deepens, because the horror doesn't stop when the 4400 return, it simply changes hands. First they were taken by the future, now they're owned by the present. What the 4400 does well, at least initially, is show how deeply damaging that is. People can't reclaim jobs. Families have moved on, children are older than their parents, spouses have remarried, identity itself becomes unstable. You're expected to pick up your life where you left it, but the world refuses to pretend nothing happened. Then come the abilities. This is where the show pivots from social sci-fi into something much more dangerous power imbalance. Promising isn't just a plot device, it's a metaphor for uneven evolution. Some people heal, some people see the future, some can move objects with their minds, others get nothing, or worse, they die. And here's the smartest and most uncomfortable an idea the show ever introduced. What if the future didn't abduct people to save us, but to weaponize us? The reveal that the 4400 weren't taken by aliens, but by future humans is excellent. It reframes abduction as utilitarian violence. These people weren't chosen because they were special. They were made special, turned into tools, returned as living pressure points in the timeline, with Kyle Baldwin positioned as a messenger rather than a savior. That should have been the spine of the entire series. Instead, the show keeps widening its scope. Promising inhibitors, secret government dosing, fatal immune deficiencies, terrorist factions like the Nova Group, competing future timelines, marked operatives, Isabel Tyler as a walking ethical nightmare, Jordan Collier turning messianic rhetoric into urban annexation. So each idea on its own, strong, but when you try to cram all of them together across 12 episodes a season, well, that's just unsustainable. This is where the show honestly starts to cannibalize itself. Take the Nova Group, for example. It begins as a defensive reaction, or a traumatized minority arming itself against oppression. That's compelling, that's real. But then it escalates too fast, too broadly, and suddenly the show is using terrorism as narrative fuel rather than consequence. Acts happen, sure, but their emotional and moral weight rarely lands because the show has already moved on to the next threat. The same thing applies to Jordan Collier. Collier is fascinating in theory, a self-declared savior who may or may not be right, offering transcendence at the cost of survival odds. Promising shots for the public are honestly a brilliant ethical landmine. Half of humanity gains power, half dies. Evolution by roulette wheel. Promised City should have been the endgame. Instead, it just becomes another escalation point. By the finale, Seattle is effectively lost. NTAC is compromised, thousands are dead or empowered, and the government quietly hands authority to the one man immune to the risks. The show ends on a cliffhanger that wants to feel profound, a new world being born, but instead it all just feels unfinished. And that's the core problem. The 4400 always felt like it was about to say something definitive, about power, about control, about fear of the other, about who gets to decide the future, but it never quite committed. Plots are introduced, gestured at, and then abandoned. Characters arrive with potential and leave without resolution. Symbolism is often blunt to the point of insult. And, the show refuses to limit itself, which is fatal when you only have 42 episodes total. This wasn't a long-form epic, it was a mini-series that honestly overstayed its welcome. You can feel it straining at renewal time. Each season finale gets louder, broader, more desperate, bigger stakes, bigger promises, less clarity. The writers' strike didn't help, but it didn't cause this either. The truth is harsher. They didn't have a long-term plan solid enough to support the ambition. And that's a shame, because when the 4400 works, it really works. Episodes like Life Interrupted proved the concept still had teeth. Moments of genuine, thoughtful science fiction surface between the noise. And yes, there's at least one actor, better known for horror, who turns in consistently strong work and honestly elevates every scene he's in. But consistency? No. Resolution? Rare. Payoff? Often missing. The 4400 is a show about abduction that, honestly, forgot to fully explore the cost of being returned. It had ideas bigger than its structure, themes deeper than its execution, and ambitions far beyond its episode count. It wanted to be the X-Files, Babylon 5, and a socio-political parable all at once. And, well, ended up being a cautionary tale about overreach. I still recommend it to sci-fi fans, concept junkies, and anyone interested in TV that almost cracked something important. Just don't expect everything to land or anything to be neatly wrapped up. Because like the people it's about, the 4400 came back, changed, and never quite figured out what it was supposed to become. Thanks for dropping by the Snake Pit, where we thrive on untapped potential and lost opportunities. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell, like the video, and leave your opinions in the comments, where naturally I won't read them. Until next time, stay venomous.